so I want to do a different type of video. I wanted to talk about the playoffs as a whole. So far, obviously, we are still in the conference finals, so we don't know, who the finals are going to be. At least it's more so it's harder to predict the East. I'm pretty sure tonight Warriors are going to 4-0 sweep the Mavs. Otherwise, they might win in 5. But it's just this year's playoffs have they've been boring. I think, again, just like last year, I think the Bucks are part of the best series of the playoffs in the second round. This time it was against Boston. I have last year's pulled up. Last year it was against Brooklyn. But looks like it peaked second round. And I've seen, some people talking about that. I can't even sit through a full game anymore. The first round, things like New Orleans and Phoenix, where after game 1, I'm like, I don't expect New Orleans to win, but they can take this deep, and they took it 6. Something like Memphis, Minnesota, I would probably say was the best game of the first round. But again, I think I would probably have to put, overall throughout the playoffs, I think Bucks Celtics was just a little bit better. You can say a part of that reason is because it ended in 6 versus, this went 7, so it had an extra game to, feel that special. But, the first round, there's just nothing, too crazy, 4-0 sweep. People absolutely loved that the Nets got blown out of the building. Because all the media was talking about was the Nets are going to win the finals. Boston just shut up the media right there for round 1. So, that was fun, but from a basketball standpoint, 4-0 sweep is just not that fun. So that's why, I'm hoping this isn't a 4-0 sweep, but we're probably going to have a 4-0 sweep here in the third round. But outside of that, again, you had Milwaukee, Chicago, which was boring. I will say Philly, Toronto did surprise me. I will say that. Because they were up, I can pull up the thing. Was it 3-0? Yes, they were up 3-0, and they got it within, they had to win 2 games. Toronto would have had to win 2 games, but they got a 3-2 series and pushed this series to go 6. So, I thought that was interesting because it looked like, when they went up 3-0, it's like, oh, well, they're going to, just sweep them. They're on to the next round. Which Philly, I was not entertained by this. I was not. Sure, it went 6, but Embiid being out the first 2 games, okay, well, it just felt like a 2-0 lead already. Embiid came back, and they won in Philly, and then they just couldn't win again. They couldn't force 7. They looked terrible in Game 5 and Game 6, and it's just, I didn't expect Philly to come out of the Miami series there. I just didn't expect it at all. Speaking of Miami, this series was terrible. Now, if you're a Miami fan, you're happy. You won in 5. You're happy about that. But from a basketball standpoint, this was terrible. This should have been a 4-0 sweep. And instead, Atlanta, I think they won at home. Did they still game at home? I think. We can check that again here, too. Yeah, at home. They still game at home, and then, they obviously still went on the road, and they went back to Miami and finished it off. But it's just, it was not entertaining. And again, really, this side was more entertaining because you had 2 games here where it looked like, okay, these look like interesting series. But we had no Game 7s in round 1, which I thought was crazy because I think if we go back, we had 1. We did okay. So we only had 1 last year. I don't know why it feels like more last year, but it just does. Fun series here. Was this was the series that Dame just went off, right? Or am I thinking of Bubble? Maybe. Let's see. Nope, I'm thinking of this here. This is the series where Dame literally forced double OT against the Nuggets in Game 5, and they still lost. It was just insane. Oops, I was close to the wrong thing. Just an insane thing, and it wins 6. So that was pretty crazy. I mean, I don't really remember this. I only really remember the media talking about, LA, LeBron James. I don't really remember a whole lot. Speaking of this, I don't remember this at all. Like, I don't remember this series at all, which is crazy because I feel like I remember this a little bit more, but I don't really remember that series either. But this series, I don't remember a single game from this series, and I remember I watched pretty much. I might have missed maybe 5 or 6 games total, but I would go back and watch the highlights because I had to make skits for it. But I watched pretty much every game last year of every series pretty much, and I just don't remember this at all. I don't remember anything happening here, and it's probably because it was a 4-0 sweep. Now I do remember this 4-0 sweep. I only really remember the Middleton Game 1 winner. Which was it was a 2-pointer, a long 2 over, I think it was Tyler Hero or something like that. But I don't really remember my Bucks beating them, at all. I don't remember really this either. Brooklyn, were they the 2-7 again? Yeah, they just flipped positions this year. Imagine if Brooklyn won Game 1 and then we would have had the same exact record, just flipped for Boston to win. That would have been crazy. But I don't really remember anything out of here. This I remember more so because of the fans. Madison Square Garden was crazy. I hate that it does that. What game did the Knicks win? Yeah, right here. Game 2. This is, are they, who had the better record? Knicks had the better record. So they won one at home, and then they never won again. But I remember just the reaction, the fans, the crowd last year was just insane for this. A 2-point win there. It's like, oh, this might go. Then you had a tied series. And then you had a 9-point win. Then you kind of had a blowout here. And then, essentially double blowouts to end. But I just remember the fans were just really helped make that series better. This one was meh. I remember telling my friend, I said the only way that Atlanta can win this series and go to the conference finals is if they take Philly 7. And they took Philly 7 and did that. And, of the Final Four, it's like, I didn't expect Atlanta to be here. I think they were kind of leading throughout the whole series, weren't they? I think the Clippers were. Oh, no, okay, so it's, tied up, and then LA just... they won 4 straight. Okay. Yeah, they were kind of dominant going in. Suns were obviously dominant going into this too, but it's like, I enjoyed these 2 series. Again, if Atlanta had beat the Bucks last year, I would have been like, okay, that's a shocker. And we're going to have a 5 seed going to the NBA Finals against the Phoenix Suns. Or, maybe Clippers would have won. I don't know. You never know. But, I just was shocked by Atlanta making it this far. They took the Bucks 6 last year. Just, crazy. Obviously, I skipped over round 2, but, best series. This series is, like, up there for me. Like, I really enjoyed this series a lot. And it's crazy because, like I said at the start, the Bucks had the best series of every team in the second round, again, for the second year in a row. Now, this does not compare. I am not putting this relatively close. Because if you look at... we'll pull up both of the scores here. So, let me move that. So, if we look at last year's first, let's see. So, what is that? 8-point win. Blowout win. This one, a lot of people are talking about this. They call it 90s style basketball, 86, 83-point win. This is a 9-point win, 6-point win. Okay, and then essentially a blowout. And then we went to OT for the final game with the Bucks. I don't think they had. Did they have the lead? I don't think they really had the lead for a lot of this game. Can I see that? Yeah. Yeah, they only won the third quarter. Okay, they won overtime, but they only won the third quarter here, and they had basically clawed their way back into this game. That's, but nothing too crazy. Again, you have this game 2 is really the only blowout, I would say. A lot of them are within 10 points. But if we look at this year's series, you had what is this, 12-point win? I think it's 12. Blowout here. This one really close. Obviously, people are controversy with the whole ref thing and whatnot. We're not going to get into it. 8-point win, 3-point win. Again, wow. Yeah, 2-3 essentially back to back. Blowout win, essentially. Blowout win. So, there's 1, 2, 3, and 12. I guess 12 is kind of considered a blow. I won't consider it, but three big blowouts. You had 12-point game. Did I count? No, I didn't count that. But 2, medium-sized blowouts, and then, 2. Well, this one was 2-point. This one was 3-point. So, again, there's what, 1 blowout in this series technically? Yeah. So that's why this one is. It's just, both teams had a chance, and in this series, when you just kind of see this blowouts early on, it's just like, okay, well, Boston's leading by 15 at half, or Bucks are leading by 20 at half. It's like, okay, well, this series, or not series, but that game is over, and we're on to the next game. And it just, sometimes they would call back in where, you make it really close, but most of the times it's like, okay, well, it's just around a 10-point win most of the times. So it's just, I didn't enjoy this. I enjoyed this more. I thought there was more moments. Obviously, one of the big moments I always think of is PJ Tucker getting into it with Kevin Durant, and then it was Kevin Durant's security guard ran onto the court, got suspended for, I think it was game 5. No, he was suspended in Milwaukee. It was either game 4 or game 6. But I remember that. I remember Giannis, essentially helping the win here. Game 7, the foot on the line, just Kevin Durant going off. I think, he had averaged 35. I think he had a 45, 50-point game. I forget what game it was, but he had a 50-point game, Kevin Durant did, and he was essentially keeping them in the series. Harden was in and out. Kyrie went out after, I think it was game 3. So, again, you had injuries here. Middleton didn't even play in this series. You had people going in and out. And Boston, a lot of people coming back. We somehow let George Hill get onto the court here. I don't know why. But it's just, I remember last year's Bucks Nets series more fondly than I do this year's Bucks Celtics series. So I can't put this, you can put it close, but I can't put it on the same level. I just can't. But it's just, looking at these, again, you could potentially say maybe because, again, 3-0 lead and they brought it back to, 3-2. You could say this is one of the better games. Again, I think this is underrated. This is a really underrated series. And I feel like people are going to, forget about this and not, put this on the radar. This was a fun series to me. So I would probably put that up there. And then again, a lot of people, a lot of people enjoyed this series here too. And I think, if Morant didn't get hurt and this goes 7, maybe I'm saying that this series is better than Bucks Celtics. But, it just, Durant got hurt and just kind of fell apart. Yes, the Grizzlies blew out the Warriors. Was at game 4, game 5, whatever. But it just, it just felt like once Morant went out, they had one good game and that was going to be it. That's just how it felt. Versus last year, again, 7-game series, round 1 to start out with. Again, Dame helped make this series better. I thought this series was kind of interesting. This series was fun. That series was fun. Again, best series within the last 2 years. Again, we have not seen the finals, so maybe, but I can't get into this. There's might be people that say this is gonna be the best series if it goes 7, but I can't get into it when you have this last year. If you look at the last 2 years, I just can't put anything above that series. So let's see how many. So 1, 2. I'll count it. I'll count it for Dame. I'll count it 3. I count this for the crowd, so we'll go 3.5. So 3.5 good games in round one. 1, 2. I guess I could go 3. I'll go 3. I'll make it fair. And then, this one was really good. This one, was good. And then the final, honestly, if we're talking finals, and I'm going to put my, Bucks biasy aside, it was okay. It was okay. Yeah, from a standpoint of basketball. I didn't, as a Bucks fan, I enjoyed it, but as a basketball fan, it's like, okay, well, Suns went up 2-0 and never won again. And it's like, okay, well, that's just not fun. Now, it did go 6, but Bucks just won 4 in a row after the Suns won 4 after 2 in a row. So if maybe Suns won game 1, Bucks won game 2, Suns won game 3, Bucks won game 4, and then Bucks win back to back, maybe like that, maybe I'd be like, okay, well, this series wasn't that bad because you're having people winning, their away team is winning. You never know what's going to happen next, who can steal one on the road, but it was the home team for the all first 4 games, and then game 5, Bucks just, went to Phoenix, finally won there, and then they just wrapped it up in 6. So it was an okay series. But so let's see. So that 3.5, 3. So what? 6.5. So did I count this on 7? I think 7.5. I don't know if I counted that one. So yeah, 7.5. Good series last year. Oh, phone's ringing. I'm just gonna. I'm almost done. I'm just gonna quickly talk over it. So 1, 2. I mean, this one is only remembered by the blowout in Game 7, so I don't know if I would consider that a good series. This one was an 3, 4. Yeah, four good series in my opinion. Maybe you thought, this is a good series, or that's a good series, or this is a good series, or. This is a good series. Again, if John Morant was healthy, I think this series would have been better than what it was. But I'm not enjoying it. A lot of blowouts this year compared to last year. Just not really fun to really just get into. So for now, like the video, share the video around, don't forget to subscribe. I know there's a phone there at the end. I can't control that. But I'm going to get down on here. Peace.